it or not, let's talk about why you are broke. You don't have any money because either one or two things. Either you have a budget and you don't stick to it, or you don't have one at all. Want to talk about it?
I'm not ready for this.
Here we go.
We're gonna thug it out.
I was a diamond in the rough. They said what we had wasn't enough. They said there was no more room for us. But now we're here about to tear it up. I was a diamond in the rough. They said what we had wasn't enough. They said there was no more room for us. But now we're here about to tear it up.
All right. Welcome back. We are here for another episode of OPM and Beyond, where we discuss, you guessed it, other people's money in order to learn more about ourselves and create generational wealth. I am your host, E. Rains. Let's get into it. So today we're talking about budgeting, right? We need to really focus on figuring out what's going out, what's coming in, and how to make the best use and to basically tie a use to every dollar that we see coming in and going out, right? So that's what today is about. Budgeting is crucial to make sure you understand what's happening with you and your household financially. It's so important. It's one of those things that people kind of talk about and everybody's like, yeah, I know, but people don't do it. You know you don't do it. That's why you're watching this video. And that's okay. No heat, no judgment. But we're here to figure out how to do it properly and kind of what we want to look at in order to do so. So what we'll start off with is a little note from Dave Ramsey, because one of those things that really gets you to the point of knowing that you need a budget and to stick to it is having that I've had it moment that he kind of discusses. So I'll let him briefly get into that, and then we'll come on back and talk about the next thing. You ready? Here we go.
You know, the interesting thing is getting out of debt is not a math thing as much as I thought it was. So I thought if we fix the math, it would get people out of debt. So I just need to show them how to fix the math. It's not math. Because I would have a single mom making $34,000 a year that would pay off $100,000 in 4 years. And I'd have somebody making $100,000 that calls me up and they got $34,000 in debt and they're going, I'm stuck. What do you mean? I just talked to a single mom, makes a third of what you make, and she paid off more than you make, and you're stuck. What do you mean you're stuck? Hope. When you don't have hope, when you don't believe you can't do anything. Henry Ford used to say, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so I started realizing it was about what was happening inside of people's heart and their hope factor, the ratio of their hope to the problem, how much they were fired up, how much they've had an I've had it moment. When you say, I've had it, my mama used to say, the worm has turned. We didn't even know what that meant. We just knew the beatings were about to begin, right? You know?
All right, so we just heard a little bit from Dave to try to talk about that hope factor, right? That hope factor ratio, you know, when it's compared to the actual problem. And getting that hope factor up gets you closer to that I've had it moment, right? Where you feel like, hey, I'm not gonna live this way anymore. I'm gonna attack my problems head on. Because if we're being honest, really what a lot of people are dealing with is a lack of hope when it comes to being able to take these problems on head on when it comes to debt and when it comes to getting control of their finances. People a lot of times bury their head in the sand. They feel like they don't know what to do about it. If I don't look at it, it's not really their type of thing. But let me tell you, it always is, right? And so you're gonna have to deal with it at one point or another. So once you get to that point of saying, hey, maybe I can get myself the tools that I need to get out of this, you can increase that hope factor and have that I've had it moment situation where you can really start to, you know, transition into really attacking the problem. So now we're going to go to the next step of what Dave is talking about in terms of the thought process and mindset. I will say that a lot of it is based in a Christian belief, but you don't have to be a Christian to understand some of the key core elements that are coming out of this segment. So stay tuned.
I'm reading through Proverbs and I saw the formula because I'll think of math terms. It said, if you've signed surety, my son, which is Old English Bible talk, forgotten yourself into debt. Okay, I'm reading New King James Version. That's what I was reading right there. If you sign surety, my son, do this. Now that's a formula, you hear it? Problem, answer to the problem, other side of those words, do this. Y'all hearing that? This is how you get out of debt. This is how those people are getting out of debt. They're doing their debt-free screams, and I can't figure out how the ones that don't make as much as the ones that make are doing it. This is what they're doing. What are you doing? It says, give no sleep to your eyes, no slumber to your eyelids. Okay, I got that. Go to work. I got that. And deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, a bird from the hand of the fowler. Here's what's interesting. The gazelle is only captured by the cheetah 1 in 19 times. Now here's what's interesting about that metaphor. The cheetah is faster. It can go from 0 to 67 miles an hour in 4 leaps. They have been clocked as high as running 82 miles an hour. We had to slow this down so I'd have time to talk. This is the fastest, baddest predator on the planet, and he's after lunch. And yet he only wins 1 in 19 times. I'm thinking, how does the inferior gazelle get away 18 out of 19 times? I'm thinking about it, and I went, oh, motivation. Gazelle loses the chase, he dies. Cheetah loses the chase, he chases another gazelle later. No big deal. Get me a slower one next time. Right? Now this is what the word says. Deliver yourself. Dave, you got me out of debt. I didn't ever get anybody out of debt. I showed you how I made you believe you could. Deliver yourself. The government's not coming, they're stupid. Deliver yourself. You're not gonna win the lotto. Deliver yourself. Don't wait on a raise, you'll spend it anyway. Deliver yourself like you're running for your life. We call that gazelle intensity.
All right, so we just heard from Dave in that clip, right? It's very powerful, I believe, because it's really saying that you have to get motivated about this thing, right? So once you increase that hope factor and you understand what the steps are and you have that motivation, how do you put that into action? How do you implement that? And what he's talking about is basically understanding the key overarching principles as best you can in order to wrap your mind around the tactical things that you would do. So the first thing would be to, don't get into any unnecessary debt, right? If things that are just your wants that can wait until you are in a better financial position to get those, they just have to wait, right? Things that are not essential and that are not helping you get towards your debt-free goal, those things have to be cut out, right? So, really finding a way to reduce and get those things out of your life and reduce debt as much as possible is going to be very key there. And then also it's really going to be you taking control and delivering yourself out of these issues, right? And running, like he gave that very vivid analogy of the gazelle, and the cheetah, right? So getting out of that, out of the situation that you're in by being quick, cunning, thinking, and very deliberate and motivated about getting out of it, right? So that's really the how, right? Really get motivated. Stay out of debt as much as you can, get out of debt, and to really become very strategic about how you're going to tackle the debt that you can't get out of just yet, right? And that is where the budget part comes in. So we're going to get to that next. All right, so let's look at our U.S. News article here by Jeff Williams. So if we scroll down here, we'll see just a high-level breakdown that's provided here about how to kind of budget or set this budget out, right? So you have housing, 25%, insurance and all that, 10%, food, 10%, transportation, utilities, savings, and so on. Even down to entertainment, clothing, and miscellaneous items. All right, so here's another one here. We have a breakdown from Dave Ramsey, or an extension of Dave Ramsey's platform, Every Dollar, and you'll see a breakdown that he has here. Before I get too much into the details, I'll look at giving there, and I'll say that, giving That's something good to do, but I will say I'm one of those people that believe you need to put your own mask on before assisting the person next to you. So
If the airplane loses pressure, oxygen masks will drop automatically. While remaining seated with your seatbelt fastened, pull down on the mask to extend the tubing. Normal breathing will start the flow of oxygen. And remember to always put your own mask on first before helping others.
you know, giving is great, but you want to make sure that it makes sense with you getting your own life together before you start doing too much of that. But here are the actual categories listed out here. You'll see some of them are even ranges, but it's really trying to help you to learn kind of how to fit your personal life to these different ranges. And if you haven't done so, to find a way to get there. We'll look at another one as well. Here we are, it says the balance. So how to figure out budget percentages for money goals. And it's just another framework to work within. And I'm providing these so you can kind of choose which one works best for you. But honestly, all of them, you know, just kind of doing this will get you to a better position likely than you would actually be in without doing anything related to budgeting. So here you'll see, a lot of the different categories: insurance, food, savings, very similar to the other two that I've shown you. But again, just another option for you to try to see what fits best for you and your family. And if you scroll down far enough, you'll see also the percentages listed out in a more, in a different format. All right, also, if you scroll down far enough on the balance, you'll see some things that are kind of not included in the budget that might impact you, that you might have to factor in and figure out how to break down your pie a little bit more to incorporate these things. One of the largest ones you'll see that I pointed out is the debt repayment, right? That's huge because that's exactly what we're talking about. Taking the debt and attacking it in a systematic way and really figuring out how to eliminate that from our lives. So those are just a few things listed there for you to really go back and tailor to yourself and your family in a way that really suits you and that you can grow and build off of. So I use a platform called Mint. Now I'll tell you, I'm not getting paid from them at all or anything. This is just something I found useful for me that is really helpful to try to keep track of everything that's, you know, all over the place when it comes to inputs to my finances, right? You'll see right here, this is the platform. You'll be able to use it on your phone or on the computer. Either one, you can connect your accounts to it, really figure out exactly, you know, how much money you have, how much coming in, how much is going out, what your net worth is, and really try to get that to where you believe you need to be moving forward in the future and really progressing from there. All right, so that's just one platform that you can use. I'm sure there are 5 or 10, maybe I'll do a separate video about all the different platforms, trying them out to see which one I like the best. It's just what I'm using now, mint.com. So you can use it on your phone, you can use it on the computer, or really you could just use it as a way to kind of get all of your accounts, you know, to dump into one place so you can analyze what's happening. You can create a budget in the app and really see kind of if you're sticking true to that, see how much you actually spend for food. If you want to say, hey, I want to spend only this amount for food, see how much that's really costing you. See how much fast food is costing you. See how much shopping is costing you for random things that you didn't necessarily account for, and try to look and see what exactly, what areas you can improve in, what areas you're strong in, and then kind of also figure out, you know, what's your net worth by looking at how much you owe versus how much you have currently saved or you have in assets, right? And really start to take control of your financial future. So I would say budgeting is crucial. You really need to start to really understand what's coming in and going out. You need to really take control of the situation so that debt does not snowball, because with interest, you know, either you're earning it or you're paying it. And so you definitely don't want to be on the side of paying it and not knowing what's going on, right? Eliminate debt, eliminate debt, eliminate debt, right? You can start from there. By doing so, you free up your money in other ways to put towards other things. Once you don't have $300 here pulling on your income, $400 there, $1,000 there every month, depending on how much student loan you have, right? You are able to give that money an assignment to do something else, right? And so you kind of instantly give yourself a raise, and so, you know, so to speak. And also, if you find any other apps that you think are really helpful for, budgeting and kind of getting towards your financial goals and seeing everything in one space, feel free to drop it down in the comments. Let us all know. Maybe it'll help someone. All right, so we just went through that. Tell me, how many of you guys are going to be out there creating budgets if you don't have one? Tell me. Don't give me no Meg from GQ answer talking about something.
If I could see the future, I would tell you that answer, but I can't.
Don't give me no answers like that. It's time to put some paint where it ain't. Get in there and make that budget. Let's see what it does for you. All right, guys, that's another episode of OPM and Beyond, where we discuss, you guessed it, other people's money and how to learn more about ourselves and create generational wealth. I'm your host, E. Rains. We out of here.
This has been, surprisingly pleasant. That's it. I'm signing off the internet.
I know that you feel that pressure, but I don't ever fall. Keep on rising like a diamond in the rough. Yeah, I be talking tough. Yeah, but I know exactly where the hell I'm coming from. Yeah.